the Civil War when they started actually with Memorial Day or Decoration Day. So I was thinking it would be honorable to give 13 seconds of silence and then we'll stand for the pledge. And I'll stand up when the 13 seconds is over. All right, let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilor Malmberg. Councilor Pereira.
Here.
Councilor Martin.
Here.
Councilor Fulton.
Here.
Mayor Hodges.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any oral requests and communications from the audience? Since there's no audience, I'm going to think no. Moving on to consent calendar, item E in the agenda. Approve council minutes for May 13th, 2024, and receive monthly financial report for April 2024.
I actually had a small change that I would like to have made to my statement, particular regarding the ordinance, and that's to just take out the word good and add, but express some concerns and the need for council to be provided with data to evaluate if the outcomes of the ordinance are what was intended. I just think that's a little bit, I think it's a very hard job. I don't know who summarizes them, but that's a hard job, and I appreciate that, but I wanted to make that a little clearer.
Any other comments, changes?
Since you brought that up, I just had a comment. When I sat on the Port Commission, regularly we had to correct the minutes and fix typos and other errors, names and so forth. So it's a good job to city staff on the Planning Commission and the City Council minutes and the other advisory bodies.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, did you get those changes that Councilor Prater wanted to make?
Oh, that's easier for you.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar with the changes.
I second.
Call the question?
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Fulton.
Yes.
Councilor Pereira.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right, agenda item F, staff reports, public hearings, ordinances, resolutions, final orders. Number 1, Hemlock rental storage units. Mr. Barron?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Rick Ray of Hemlock Street Properties, he applied for a conditional use permit back in February. Took it to the planning commission. Planning commission voted unanimously to approve his conditional use permit. He appealed it to you guys last meeting. You guys voted unanimously at the May 13th meeting to deny his appeal, affirming the decision of the planning commission. What I have for you tonight is the final order, which we typically bring to the next meeting after we've had a chance to craft it based on comments in response at the meeting. So what I have for you is the final order for the CP 524. Any questions?
I just wanted to make a comment, and that's to apologize to you, Tony, for some of the ways that went last time. There was information we were lacking and failed to ask. I know there's a lot of times where there's things that we don't know, and it's important for us to ask questions. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. I thank you that I saw the next morning that we had been forwarded where you had reached out to Lori and she had had some comments, and I hadn't seen that prior to the meeting. And I think that would have been helpful information for me to digest some of it. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve final order for CUP 5-24 conditional use permit to allow the development of rental storage units at 508 Hemlock Street, assessors map and tax number 4113-05CB, tax lots 6100, 6200, 6201, applicant Rick Gray, Hemlock Street Properties LLC.
I'll second.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Pereira.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Then item 2.
Okay, this one is a design for a water line replacement project on Collis and Roland Lane. This project, you may recall me mentioning through budget process that when we do street repairs, street improvement projects, we try and take care of the infrastructure that's underneath. And this project is one that runs parallel to our sanitary sewer collection project through USDA to get Lone Ranch online. So we're hoping to take care of this project and the sanitary sewer line at the same time. So what we're looking for tonight is to approve the task order for the design portion so that we're shovel ready when the collection project starts. And we can bid this one out and hopefully get maybe even the same contractor to do it. So this is just for the design portion of it. And this is a copper line, which we're mandated by EPA to get rid of all of our copper lines. And we have a few of them that are scattered about town. One of them that is budgeted this year also is on Hillside. We're going to replace that water line as well. This is also another one.
How big is the copper pipe?
It's only an inch, I think it's an inch and a half.
Oh, okay.
So it's really choked down for that area there, the residents there. Do you have any questions?
I just say I think it's prudent to obviously do this while we're doing construction around that area anyways and not have to rip the area up twice. Any more discussion on it? Okay.
A motion to authorize the city manager to proceed with the dire task order number 108 in the amount of $33,800 for the design of the nearly 500 linear feet of water line replacement on Collins and Barclay Lanes.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Counselor Pereira.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right, next on the agenda is informational non-action, which is city recruiter or city manager recruitment update from our interim city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have is that Thursday afternoon will be the interviews for the city manager finalists. There are 2 who will be attending in person and one that, due to a scheduling conflict, will now be attending via Zoom. Emailed and in your boxes is the tentative schedule. There's still a couple things that we're working with Prothman to figure out the exact timing of. And so I expect to have that figured out tomorrow. And then a new final timeline will be provided to you. But it will just be a minor change with the finalist who will be interviewed by Zoom. Otherwise, everything else on there should be solid. And I believe everything else for that day I've emailed to you to give you an idea of it. Other than that, I think everything's been emailed and provided.
How many questions are we looking for from that list?
Richard, the number of questions that are provided there, which I think is, 22, he said is definitely on the long side. Would be looking somewhere probably in the 15 range to keep it to about 45 minutes. And a lot of it will just depend on the follow-up questions by council. If they're wanting something else from that answer. But somewhere in the 15 range, he believed would get it at about the 45 minutes. That extra 15 minutes that's in there is just for council time afterwards to be able to have any discussion. But certainly as you take a look through there, and this is something that then in the time provided prior to the first interview can come together. You'll be in executive session then and come together and remove some questions, or if there are questions that you feel would be very pertinent, then that would be the time to get rid of questions or add a question or two. But somewhere in that 15 range should come out to be about 45 minutes. And that's kind of what I was aiming for when I scheduled it.
On your, and I appreciate it, your timeline for the 30th of May. Thank you for that. When you have 11:45 to 12, you have meeting of the council. Is that really the first time that we're going to interact?
Just
Yeah.
for a very brief introductions.
Okay.
Before going over to the EOC, I didn't want it to just be cold over at the EOC. Here would just be a very brief, introduction, hello, and then moving over. Yes.
Okay, and then as far as the EOC, this is just for me to confirm. As far as moving over to the EOC, is that just with employees, or are you wanting city council as well?
No, the city council is invited to that.
Okay.
That's why having you just prior to that, yes.
Perfect.
So would be to come over with, right after the quick introductions in here, then would be everyone moving over to the EOC. There wouldn't be an expectation of anything during that time from the council, other than to just hear for a few minutes from each of the finalists. But no, nothing as far as an expectation of the council until after that luncheon in the prep just prior to the first interview.
Perfect. And then as far as the session to really confirm questions, at what point are you thinking for that?
So that would be part of, it's being done in the EOC just because it's executive session and there won't be interruptions, unlike here in the council chambers, since there could be people coming in and out and noise and stuff. So that cleanup would be done as quickly as possible to allow even more time, hopefully like a 20 to 25 minute block for the council prior to that first interview to be able to go over questions and present anything that you think maybe more specific or something that you don't feel would be a worthwhile question.
So if I could make a suggestion then, because I was looking at the time frame, and thank you for clarifying that, it isn't a whole lot of time for what that discussion could turn into. So maybe, and I'm looking for input here, but 2 to 3 questions for each counselor to have ready. And if if a bunch of us have the same questions, that's fine. And then my preference would be that we ask the same questions to each person and not switch them up. Now, that's just a preference. I'm throwing it out there as a suggestion. But I feel that if you switch
You
them
mean
up.
the same questions to each candidate? That's in an email I
was in
sent
the
you
email.
today.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. Thank you.
you must ask the same questions to each candidate.
Good.
But what you can do is a follow-up question to a candidate specifically about their qualifications or something about them or something that they stated in an answer. But
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm used to questions leading into other discussion, and that's fine, but thank you for that.
Yep.
That was all I was trying to get to. Appreciate it.
I had a couple of questions. When the department directors interview the candidates, are they using a similar list of questions, or is there a?
there are few that maybe there are a few that would be the same or similar. The majority of them are different though, and it's more focused on staff interactions or things within City Hall. Fewer of them that are the big picture running the city, which was focused more with the city council.
Are you going to sit in with us or with the department directors?
I'll sit in wherever you'd like me to sit in. So I had myself with the department directors because I didn't know where if the council wanted it different. But I'll sit wherever the council would like me to sit.
If we're making this decision now, I agree with that. You meeting with sitting with the other directors. But I'm willing to discuss if that's not what you guys think.
I was just curious.
Any other questions? All right, well, moving on to line item H, remarks from mayor, councilors, and city manager.
Can I just say something quickly? I'd like to thank all of the city employees, the city staff who put in endless hours for preparing for the Azalea Festival Parade, as well as vendor show, the music in the park, and everything else related to it. There were countless hours put in by staff at City Hall, certainly, with that, as well as the fire department and the police department with the parade itself. But I think it went great. There was great attendance. I've heard a lot of good feedback on the organization of it and just all the events that were there for the community and visitors to the community to enjoy. And I just want to thank all of the city staff for the time that they put in to make it successful.
Absolutely. I'll just piggyback on that. Thanks to everyone who participated or contributed to the Azalea Festival. It was certainly a wonderful weekend with lots of activities and fun for the whole family, and but most importantly, the remembrance of why we have this holiday. That's the men and women who have given their lives for our freedoms. So appreciate that.
I appreciate, Isaac, you taking time to give that moment of silence. I think also sometimes when we think about people who have given their life for our freedoms, we think about old people or years gone by. But I had a young lady I know who their son or her brother is friends of my son, and there were 5 in his unit that have lost their life since he's been in. Same with my son, multiple people that he knows who have lost their life in service. So it's young men and women also. And so, yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful too for all the staff and the time they put in for the parade. But also on top of that, we've added this whole extra project of recruiting a new city manager. I know that's taken a lot of time. If there's ways that I've dedicated my day to this process. If there's ways I can be helpful in setting up in the EOC, I'd love to help do that. So let me know. And I'm excited to take this next step and start moving forward.
Councilor Martin?
So, again, great job on the Azalea Festival planning and the work. Looked like it went off without a hitch on the whole weekend. So, great job there for the city staff and the people involved in planning it. So I received an email today that I'm sure the rest of the council received about the plant-based treaty, inviting Brookings to join in the plant-based treaty. I don't know if you saw that, but I wish there was more, and basically to encourage restaurants and people and communities to shift towards a plant-based diet. But I actually wish there was more agriculture and livestock production in our area. There isn't, but I support the little ag industry we have here. I'm a big supporter of our seafood industry and our commercial fishing industry, and I think a lot of people come to Brookings to enjoy the beach and check out the nice restaurants we have here that have varied menus, and I want to keep it that way, and I would encourage us not to join the plant-based treaty. So that's my comment.
Well, you would have my vote not to join the plant-based treaty, so. I really, I had the same thing everyone else has said on my mind, so thank you, Chief, for starting us out and being thankful for that. I'm sure a long couple months build up for the Azalea Festival that our city workers have went through. But I have to say, the park, I spent quite a bit of both Saturday and Sunday at the park, and it looks fantastic. It's nice. That's putting it mildly. And in addition to that, I know there was probably a ton of things that were falling apart or not going right or whatever behind the scenes, but you could not tell. It was great, and so I'm seconding, thirding, fourthing, fifthing, whatever what you said about just everyone and what they did to pull that weekend off. Kudos, thank you, great work. I have lived here my whole life, and maybe I'm being a little biased or not looking at it correctly, but I don't know that there's been a better parade and a better weekend. And yes, a lot of it does have to do with weather as well. It's just like everything came together, but it was phenomenal. And then another part I just wanted to, say is I know this isn't our last meeting with you up here, Kelby, but as we're drawing or interim city manager chief, sorry. As we're drawing to the last probably number of meetings, as we're getting to interview a full-time and hopefully find a full-time person to give you your position as full-time chief back, I just want to thank you. And I'm sure I'll have time again at a later meeting, but thank you for, being able to dig in and, bring these meetings together and, put up with all of us novice people trying to do our best as well. So, and Tony and everyone else as well, working with us. And I'm pretty confident in what I've seen from the applicants that we're interviewing that we'll have some good experience sitting in that seat. But that doesn't make anything light of what you've done. So thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. I've had great support in being able to do this. Thank you.
You too, Brooklyn.
Oh.
If there's no other remarks, we'll adjourn at 7:24.